listening to the LOZ Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the LOZ Podcast Network. My name's Ken Lawler. I'm the developer of the LOZ app. And today we're excited because we're starting a new series on the LOZ Podcast Network. It's called Coves and Keys, and it's the LOZ Real Estate Podcast. And we're going to be talking to several of the experts that we have in the LOZ app who are local realtors, local team leads, local owners of real estate companies, and get their insights on what's going on at Lake of the Ozarks. It's such a unique market. There's so much going on in real estate, and we want to get their opinion on what's happening and even go through some of the things that they're offering on the market and some insights that might be able to help you out. And today we're going to talk to Tammy Rosenthal, and she is team leader and owner of Fran Campbell Team Remax. Hi, Tammy. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Awesome. Well, welcome. You are in the inaugural series debut of Coves and Keys. So this is pretty apropos because Tammy was one of the first realtor companies that got into the LOZ app way back when we started. So I felt like she should be the one to kind of bless this new podcast series called Coves and Keys. Tammy, tell me, how did you get to Lake of the Ozarks? Were you born there, or did you find your way there in a different way?
By marriage. No, I was not born here. Actually, I started coming to the lake when I was dating my now husband, Dale. We started coming to the lake in 1992, and his parents had purchased property and had a lake house down here since 1967.
Oh, wow.
So he grew up coming to the lake all the time, and he loved it. And so he introduced me to this place. We lived in St. Louis at the time. And we would pack our car up on Thursday night. So as soon as we were done with work on Friday, we could head to the lake and be in our happy place. And then we had an opportunity to move here full time in 2005, and we have never looked back. Love living here. Like I said, from the St. Louis area, and I don't like the traffic when I go back.
You know, it's a typical story. Like people say, I just came here. I came here on vacation, or I came here with my family, and I just fell in love with it. And I was like, you know what? I need to live here. Now, back when you got here in '05, it was a much different market, right? I mean, those are even maybe back in the days when you couldn't find groceries year round at that time. Now it's a completely full-time market.
Definitely. Target had just opened, and I was like, oh, we can move there now because there's a Target.
So when you got here, were you already in real estate, or did you just decide to get in real estate when you got to the Ozarks?
No, I have a very different background. I have a degree in biology. I worked for Pfizer in research and development in St. Louis. And then whenever we got here, there is nothing at all like that here at the lake. So I took a job working in the office here at Fran Campbell Team. And that's how I got where I am. I started out as closing coordinator, and then I got my license in 2010. And then Fran decided that she wanted to retire in 2020. And here I am, the owner of the company now.
Well, that is really cool. And I mean, what's even more cool, I think, is that, you know, anytime you can have a woman-owned company in Missouri and really flourish, I mean, that's a huge thing. So I think you guys have just been going crazy. I know that you and I were talking that the last 5 or 6 years have been just unbelievable. Lake of the Ozarks, coming out of COVID, during COVID, that kind of stuff. What makes the Lake of the Ozarks market different than other markets that are out there? So you said you're from St. Louis. I'm from St. Louis.
Mm.
You know, if I'm coming to the lake and I'm buying a property, why is it any different than buying a property in the big city?
Well, there are so many different things. We have condos, we have offshore properties, we have lakefront properties. When you're dealing with condos, you need to make sure and find out what kind of assessments there are going to be. Maybe the condo association has voted on something that's going to come up, and you want to make sure that you knew that before you buy into that. With lakefront properties, we have docks on the lake, so we have to have permits for those docks. We need to make sure the dock electric is up to code. We have flood zones that you have to worry about. There are just so many different things that go into living at the lake that's way different than living in the city. Also, people search differently when they're searching at the lake. They don't have to be in a particular school district or close to their job, because most of these are second homes. So you don't have people just trolling through neighborhoods saying, I want to be only in this neighborhood. It's a little bit different in the way that we have to reach outside of our area to bring in for advertising.
And
if
you
that makes
mentioned
sense.
something that's really cool, like the dock situation. I mean, I know
Mhm.
that I've owned a couple homes down here that these docks are now another home. I mean, it's amazing what people are the kind of money and time and effort they're putting into these docks. And when it comes time to do an appraisal or it comes time to sell, sometimes, and I'm sure you've run into this, I
Mhm.
imagine there's docks that are worth more than the house.
Definitely, definitely. And you also find out what kind of buyers they are, if they're house buyers or dock buyers, because some of them, they're like, I don't even care about the house. I'm going to go straight to the dock and find out what the dock's like. Because if I don't like the dock, we're not even looking at the house. I don't care.
Well, it's truly unique, and I think I just talked to somebody last week who ran into some things with FEMA with the flood zone, like you were mentioning. That flood zone has changed over the years, so they've
Yes.
moved it, and people buy a home and they think they're safe, and you realize if they didn't do their homework right, they're in a flood zone, and now you got a real problem. Not only in the fact that you got to get flood insurance, but you're also if you ever have to resell it,
Yes.
it can be a problem.
Financing. Yes, definitely.
And when you do financing, and that's another good thing to bring up. So you guys work with local financing people in the market, right? I mean, because I would think you can't just call up Wells Fargo, in Nebraska and get a loan done on a lake home and have it go smoothly. I mean, I imagine you work with people who've seen everything, they understand it, and they get this kind of stuff done.
Yes, we work with local lenders who have local underwriters that are aware of our unique situations here at the lake. There was a time not too long ago where they didn't want to include docks in the loan. And as you said, some of these docks are massive amounts of money. And if you can't include that in the loan, then some buyers just they couldn't afford to do it because they didn't have that much extra cash.
All right, Tammy. Well, I know you work 70, 80 hours a week on real estate. You try to live your life. You try and do all this other stuff. Do you have any time for hobbies?
I do. I make time for hobbies. Yes. I love to scuba dive. My husband and I take several trips a year, and also our son, who is 21, he scuba dives also. We typically go to the Caribbean. One of our favorite places to go is at Bonaire and just do scuba diving. It's peaceful. I can't get any phone calls or texts or emails when I'm underwater, and I just love to see if I can identify different species of fish.
And that kind of goes back to your previous life as, being in the sciences, right?
Definitely, definitely. I'm gonna throw you a curveball though too. There is another something that I like to do to relax me. My old lady hobby. I like to crochet.
You know what? Crocheting's coming back. I just talked to a girl who was like 24, and she
Yeah,
said, "I am taking up crocheting." And I looked at her, I said, "I haven't heard crocheting since my grandma." And she's like, "No, it's
it's true.
becoming a thing, and it's a cathartic exercise." She's like,
Hmm.
"I do it so that it's something I can do while I'm even watching TV, or I might be reading a
Hmm.
book." But that's funny that you say that because I guess maybe it's making a comeback, huh?
It really is. I like my grandma taught me how to do it, and then I didn't do it for a long time, and then I picked it up again. And now my son's roommate, she's crocheting. It's funny.
That's awesome. All right, so let's
Hmm.
talk about some of the properties specific to what you guys are offering right now. I know
Okay.
you and I got before we talked earlier in the week, and you said that you've had a lot of big properties go under contract here in the last week, which is awesome. A few of the properties that I wanted to feature today, and just get your insight on them a little bit, and maybe you can talk for a little bit. The first one is 3993 Viewside. Tell us a little bit about that property.
Sure. That is a custom built home. It's a three-bedroom, three bath. It home actually sits on the second tier lot, but the lot directly in front of it is a gorgeous main channel view with 92 foot of waterfront.
Wow, look at that! I see that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay, so how about 4800 Eagle View?
All right. That one is a condo at Parkview Bay, and that's conveniently located in Osage Beach. It's a true four-bedroom condo with three baths, and it has a 14 by 40 boat slip.
And I know that development, and I almost bought a condo in that development, and that unit that you're showing there with the loft, yeah, those are so cool. Like that, you almost have like a two-story house. I mean, in the complex, and they are huge. I mean, like you said, you don't run into a lot of four-bedroom condos at Lake of the
No,
Ozarks.
you don't. And if I might add, the shootout is being moved and it's right by this location. And you can rent at that complex.
I know that because I just got put on the shootout board, so I'm familiar with the move, and we're excited about bringing the shootout over to that part of the lake. I think it's going to be amazing. And yeah, if you're at Parkview Bay, you are on the front row of the shootout, and it's going to be really cool. So if any of your clients actually use them for rentals, I think that's going to be a big rental week coming up here next year. Let's talk a little bit about 686 Clearwater.
All right, that's one of our newer listings. Clearwater is located off the Big Niangua in Camdenton, so it's a little bit quieter waters. That one's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it comes with a 12 by 32 boat slip. So that one is a loft unit also, and you can rent at Clearwater also.
And to get a 12 by 32 boat slip up on the Niagara, I mean, that's rare. I mean, that's a big slip that you don't find a lot of times on that part of the lake. So, I mean, that's a really good find. And it has a loft as well. Yeah, that's gorgeous. And then what about 283 Broken Post?
All right, so that is a unique property. It's actually located in Richland, so it's off the water. It's on 11 acres. There's a main house, and the main house has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. And then there is a guest house, apartment, and a garage. And there's another 1-bedroom, 1-bath in that apartment. That's the apartment building right
Oh, that's
there.
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then there's even another garage that has a big loft storage area.
Oh my gosh.
Lots of room to spread out, bring all your toys. There's RV hookup right there by that garage. So it's pretty
Or
cool.
get your brother-in-law and your sister-in-law and your mom and dad and do like what they did on Dallas back in the day when they just all lived in the same property. Everybody took a different part of the property and they can all live there peacefully, right? That's how families do it, I've
You
heard.
know, actually, the multi-generational setting is coming back because housing, not everyone can afford to buy houses right now. The kids can't afford to move out, so they're moving back in with the parents. And retirees have found that they haven't saved enough money, so they're moving back in with their kids.
And in that property with 11 acres, I mean, you got plenty of room. I mean, you could get lost in there and you don't have to run into anybody. So that's a great property to split up.
Yeah, I
And
grew up out in the sticks, and my mom always said we need some hollering room. So,
I love that. Okay, so I have one more property, and I don't know
mhm.
if you know too much about this one. See if you can struggle through it. But this is the 100 Quiet Meadows, and there's something unique about this property. What's that?
This is my personal home that I'm trying to sell. It's located in Lynn Creek off of Y Road, which is kind of where Big Surf is. This is a 4-bedroom, 3 full baths, 2 half baths home. It's about 4,600 square foot. It has a really cool, like under the house man cave, garage, workshop area.
That's awesome. And
I I
how long have
like
you
it.
guys lived? Oh, look at that closet. Well, you really knocked that
I
closet
know,
out.
right?
Did you rehab this house? Did you take it and re?
No, we actually built this house.
Oh, this is okay. You built it. Okay, that's awesome.
We built this house, so I know a lot about it. Every single wall in this house and all the floors are insulated. That floor
Oh,
right
wow.
there on the lower level is built up. We took 2x4s, put them on the side, made a grid, blew in insulation, put subfloor down so we have actual hardwood down there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, that looks like a real party space down there too. You could really throw some parties in that place.
definitely.
All
It
right,
sits
so
on almost 3 acres, and there is a private lake behind it that you could put a little dock on if you wanted to.
oh, that's wonderful.
Mhm.
That's cool. Okay, so now is the time we come where I want to kind of get your market insights. So this is the chance to talk about the lake and what's going on at the lake from a buyer's and a seller standpoint. I know, I hear this all the time, but like buyers want to think that it's the worst of times, and sellers want to think it's back in COVID when you put a house up and got 50,000 over asking. What's the truth? Where does this end, and what's going on right now in the market?
All right. The truth is, we have seen a little bit of a slowdown this year in the number of transactions that have closed, but the prices have not dropped. So we're still seeing prices hold and in some case even raise above what they were last year.
And is that inventory related just because there's just limited amount of inventory, and if a
Yes.
house comes up on the
Yes.
lake and somebody wants to be on the lake, there's just not that much available?
Yes, it is inventory related.
So tell me about this. So, okay, I want to get in. I'm waiting for interest rates to fall, or I'm waiting for something else to kind of suddenly hit me where I'm going to buy the home. Why should I not really try and time this market?
This year, we had a lot of buyers saying they wanted to wait until after the election. Well, we're after the election now. Now we're hearing, I want to wait until interest rates drop. But in reality, if you wait until interest rates drop, you're going to be right back in this buyer pool again. Because as soon as interest rates drop, we have this large pool of buyers that are just waiting for that to happen. They're all going to jump in. And so you're going to see prices go up again. So I wouldn't wait for interest rates to drop. This is my personal opinion. I would not wait for interest rates to drop. I would find the home that you love now and buy it at today's price. And then you can always refinance, but you can't go back and buy the house at last year or 2 years ago's price.
And that's a really good advice, because I think, interest rates are something people love to look at and follow. Oh, it ticked down a half, it ticked down a quarter, I should make a move. The reality is, if you look at interest rates over the last 25 years, we're still at record low interest rates. It's not anything that, our parents were paying back in the 70s and that kind of thing. But I know that the appreciation on homes consistently goes up year after year after year. So, I mean, you might be saving a little money by waiting a couple months on a rate to tick down, but you're actually costing yourself money because that appreciation is happening all the time. And like you said, if rates go down, they're going up even more. So, I guess the key is, if you find a property that you really love at Lake of the Ozarks and it's one that you think fits all the things that you're looking to do, buy it.
Definitely. Another thing that people ask me, because we're going into wintertime right now, when's the best time to buy? And everyone thinks that real estate shuts down in the wintertime. And that is not true either. About a quarter of our sales happen in the November, December, January, February timeframe here at the lake. So,
Really?
yeah, I know, it's surprising, isn't it? And a huge amount of our luxury sales happen in that fourth quarter. Like I said earlier, all of my big listings have gone under contract in the last 3 weeks. We have a lot of investors that are looking to spend money before the end of the year.
Save
So
on
they're
some
looking for those
taxes.
properties. Yep, definitely.
Tammy, we talked a lot about the, condo market and the home market and what's going on around the lake. But one of the big things that goes on at Lake of the Ozarks is the commercial market and restaurants and stores and all that. And I know you guys have some really exciting news. You guys were very integral in bringing this new restaurant to Lake of the Ozarks. Can you tell us how that happened? And I know we're going to bring in one of your team members, Chad, who was working on that project, to kind of talk about it.
Right. So I don't do a lot of commercial, but Chad on our team has really delved into the commercial market. So Chad Swer, he is the one that contacted these people, and he can tell you all about it.
Chad, let us know what's going on, man.
Yeah, so big exciting news. Today was the day that all the big news broke. And so we haven't been able really to talk about it up until this point. But the old Bonnie Cafe up there by Walmart, it was off the market for a long time. It was just sitting there. I kept contacting the owner, wondering if he was interested in selling it or leasing it or anything like that. And pretty much was told no quite a few times. And, I work with some people looking for restaurant spaces here at the lake. And I was contacted by a gentleman out of Springfield that wants to open a restaurant here. He owns a restaurant in Springfield, and I was able to secure this off-market deal for them. And so they are going to be moving in. The name of the restaurant is Nawab's, Nawab's, Nawab's Indian Cuisine. So it's going to be kind of an upscale Indian restaurant.
Oh man, that's something we don't have at the lake. I mean, that's awesome.
The response is unbelievable. I can't tell you. People are just really, really excited about this. So he's going to be opening up around the middle of January. Going to do a buffet 3 days a week there on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He'll be open 7 days a week, but on the weekends he'll have a really nice buffet. They're working on right now renovating that place. It needed quite a bit of work to, bring it up to where they want it. So they're going to be putting a bar inside that restaurant. They've got some really big plans.
That sounds great. And I know that, they were looking at tandoori chicken. I mean, there's some really cool Indian dishes. And I just think it's awesome when we can bring a restaurant to the lake that you don't have 20 of those. We need some different. Ooh, that looks good too. Now I'm getting hungry. I
can tell you their food is excellent. They have just what they've done in Springfield with their first restaurant it's really unheard of. They have a really big following there. They've done really well. And I think the same thing is going to follow them to Osage Beach. He's a super hardworking guy. He's really gung ho, and they're really excited about this chance at the lake.
That's awesome. Well, we are excited. We're excited to have a new restaurant in town. I think, everyone has been to the Bonnie Cafe, so they all know where that's at. And I think having that new flavor added to the lake cuisine is going to be awesome. Thank you for not, giving up when you kept calling them and asking them to do something with you on that space, because we need more restaurant. I mean, if you go out during the season, especially, we need more restaurants at Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
So
closing this deal was a level of difficulty would be a 10 out of a 1 to 10. This was about as hard as it gets, but thank goodness we were able to make it happen.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Chad, thank you so much for joining us today and talking about that new place that's coming to the lake. And we will look forward to having our first meal there real soon.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
One thing that I love about the Lake of the Ozarks is all the different restaurants. They're not chain restaurants. We have just all kinds of entrepreneurs coming in with different, mom and pop restaurants, one-offs. That's what I love about the lake is it's not also commercial.
No, and that's what that's a great tie into the LOZ app. We don't have any chain restaurants in the LOZ app. Everything that we have in the LOZ app is all locally owned restaurants. They live in the market. Their kids live in the market. They go to school there. It's really something that I think is unique. And I think that's why a lot of people have gravitated to the LOZ app, because they know they can go and find a local offering with great food. And it is, the lake's become a great place to go out and find a great meal. And so it's exciting that you guys are bringing even more and adding to that. So that's going to be fun. Well, it's super easy to find you because we've made it easy for everyone, because you're all over the LOZ app. You can't go to any section in the LOZ app where you won't see Fran Campbell Team's ad, or you'll see their listing, and all you got to do is click it and you'll go. You can call you. They can go to your website and look around. This is truly one of the really great teams at Lake of the Ozarks, and I'm so glad that we were able to kind of bring you on today to talk about your insight and what you really feel the lake's doing. And we're certainly going to have you on here later in the year, and we'll check back to see if some of our predictions came true or if something else has changed. But thank you very much for joining us on the inaugural series premiere of Coves and Keys. You're the first, so this is exciting for us.
I didn't realize that, but thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Tammy.